Check. Good. So I'm Max Ceron. Max Ceron, CWB Association Welding podcast. Today we have a really cool guest, Welding podcast.
The show is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the CWB Association podcast. My name is Max Dolan, and we are here in humid and rainy Nashville, Tennessee for the wonderful AWMI conference, which is the Association for Women in the Metal Industries. We came to attend this conference to grab some great interviews from some of the leaders in the North America, in the metal markets, and of course, they're all wonderful women. Today, I have with me Becky Dolan here, who works for InfoSite as a purchasing materials manager and is, more importantly for this situation, the international membership chair for AWMI. Hi, Becky.
Hi, Max.
How you doing?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you liking the weather here in Nashville?
Actually, it's been pretty nice since we've been here. It's just turned the humid and the wetness in the last day.
I saw it's going to get pretty rainy by the end of the week, but, I think from what I hear from the locals, that for November, it's pretty good. Yeah, so we're doing all right. Now, we were talking before the show. You got a really high number of attendees. What are you looking at for attendees here this week?
We're looking at almost 400.
That's amazing. So in contrast, or I guess in relationship to the total membership, what's the total membership of the AWMI group?
Currently, our total membership for this year is 2,031.
You told me not to ask you details, but you know those details.
I know those details.
So 2031, you got 400 people here. That ratio is probably the best I've ever heard of any association. We get conferences where we have 200-300 people, but we got tens of thousands of members. How do you engage like that?
Well, we currently have our local chapters, and they offer great programs. And at headquarters, we actually offer a mentoring program that also engages all the members. If they're looking for a mentee or they want to be a mentee or a mentor, we've got that great program, and it's staying engaged and giving your members what they want.
That's amazing because, that really is, I guess, an amazing thing to do in an association because as many of the people that watch the show or that are part of the association networks in the world, engagement's kind of the key, right? If you don't have engagement, you don't really have much going on.
That's right. If you can't keep the members and our corporate members, because I'm sure you're aware we have the corporate members because your association is one of them.
Yep.
This year we have 83 corporate members. That's the highest ever. And those companies feel like we offer something to their employees that they benefit from.
Well, I know that we've already tapped in to your group as an association ourselves, as a corporate member. The AWMI team did our panel for FabTech Canada up in Canada last year, which was amazing, and it was super well received. But let's back up a little bit because it's interesting. Everyone's got a story, right? So, Becky, we're trying to empower women here this week and inspire women, right, to get into the metal industries and become relevant and strong within these industries. For yourself, how did that path work out? Was 10-year-old Becky thinking someday she's going to work in the metal industries?
No, it was just by chance.
Yeah.
Because I've been working for InfoSite. It'll be 31 years in February.
Wow.
And I started as a receptionist.
Okay. So you kind of came in under a traditional, I would say, female role.
Yes.
Now, once you came into that job, what was it that started pulling you into these more non-traditional roles?
The challenge, and also that's where the company needed me.
Yeah. You were just there.
Right. Yep. Because I've held positions as a receptionist, sales coordinator, inside sales. I actually was in accounting for a while because our accountant left. And then I was in sales and marketing. I was general manager of sales and marketing for probably over 20 years.
Wow.
Where I coordinated the trade shows and was the support for our outside sales. And then just became into purchasing a couple years ago.
Yeah, how do you like that transition?
I like it. I like the numbers because I always wanted to be in accounting, and it wasn't there. So I like the numbers and the details.
In your 31 years, you said, in the industry now, working in this company and around the steel industry, have you seen a lot of changes for women? Do you see progress? Do you see that it would be easier for, let's say, a woman coming right off the street that would want your position at this level? Is that something that's doable? Because I don't think everyone wants to start at the bottom and work their way up over decades. We want to kind of get the young people to get interested that these roles are out there, right?
Yeah, I've seen it more, and actually, our company is hiring more women in non-traditional roles. We have a woman in shipping now. We have women in outside sales. And when I started, I was employee number 17, and there was only two of us. So to get a woman in the non-traditional roles.
And what kind of advice would you give, some younger women that are looking to get into these roles? That I kind of don't have it on the radar at all.
It's just doing the research and learning that working in the steel industry, whether it's a supplier like I am or in the mill, you got to do your research and see that it's not just a man's world anymore.
That's right.
And networking and researching associations like ours to give you that support.
So, you said you started in this company 31 years ago as a receptionist. Right when you started that job, at that time in your life, was it just you applying for any work? Were you just out there looking for work? Like, what was the goal that you kind of had as a young person that you wanted to be?
I just wanted to challenge myself.
Yeah.
Get into a role that I would feel good about myself and challenge, and could get up every morning and look at myself in the mirror and be happy with it.
That's awesome. And you found that it was something that, because any job is ups and downs, right?
Right.
There's going to be some dark times when you're like, what the heck am I doing here? Right. And InfoSight, what is it that they do specifically in the industry?
We do identification and marking. We work with steel mills. If they've got a problem, it's a harsh problem. It's labeling and identifying, putting barcodes on the steel right when it comes out of the caster in the mill. We don't compete with, paper labels. That's not us. We like the hard stuff where it's got to survive 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's got to survive acids. We actually we've got lots of engineers and we own lots of patents. We have a patent that you can use tags to mark steel before it goes into galvanizing, and it will survive the galvanizing.
Oh, really? Wow. So then it becomes permanent.
Yeah. Well, it's a tag that hangs on there, but it keeps it from where used to in the older days. Before that, they would have to send out people with tape measures and, pieces of paper to measure it and mark down what the piece was after it came out of the galvanizing, and they don't have to do that anymore.
Wow. And for you to be a part of this company over these years and see this progress, you said that you worked also with the trade shows part of the company. Sounds like a bit of a startup, and they have a niche and that they're going down, which is amazing. I know exactly what you're talking about. I worked in a steel mill when I was younger, and tagging the material pre and post is a hassle because you tag it when it's pre-made, then it's made, and you lose all the tag, then you got to tag it again, right? So, and it's annoying. So I see totally where this would fit. Now, when you're out there trying to do the trade shows, selling the product, did you ever find that being a woman was sort of an obstacle in the industry from others, looking at you? Or did you find that it was that you could hold your own and it was all right?
At the beginning, you could tell at the trade shows, because I used to attend them all, and you could see that the attendees would kind of go toward the men to talk to them, thinking that I didn't know what I was talking about.
Right.
But then later on, it would grow and they would know. And now I'm one of the kind of stables, at InfoSight, and I have everybody's calling me. People that I've known, from the steel mills from years, they'll say, hey, I don't know who to contact, but can you help me?
What are some of the skills that you had to pick up along the way? When you come into the job, you've worked at so many different roles in the company over the years to your current role now. What are some of the skills that you had to pick up and practice professionally or even personally to be good at your job?
I would say the communication between coworkers and talking with different personalities on how to work with different personalities, making sure to get stuff done in a
Mm-hmm.
professional and efficient way. Because I've never had more than one person under me, but I can usually talk to anybody and try to get stuff done. And you just have to respect people. So, I mean, that wasn't a learning trait. That's where I was raised.
Mm-hmm.
You respect people and they'll respect you and they'll help you get stuff done.
And what are some of the other things that you've had to work on? I know you brought it up to me
Yeah.
before the show.
Yeah.
And it kind of comes up in the context of you personally, but also as a woman, as an empowerment thing for women, right? And that was finding your voice.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. The public speaking and being able to speak up for yourself and negotiate, but the public speaking was very hard. 20 years ago, I wouldn't have been doing this. I would be the one that would walk into a networking event and stay back in the corner and just kind of hang out.
Yeah, just kind of observe,
kind of get close to a group where it looked like you were in the group, but you weren't really.
We all kind of know that feeling, but I feel like that's probably, I guess, exacerbated in an environment where it's so male dominated and you're a female. So it's probably even harder to sort of plug yourself into a conversation.
Yeah, but AWMI's helped with that because it's a comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
If nobody's going to judge you,
right? Everyone probably has similar shared experiences too, right? Now, in those professional settings, what were some of the things you learned? For the audience, for the young women that are listening, to help you find your voice. What are some of the little pieces of information that you learned that were like empowering to you?
Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone because that's where you learn. If it's being able to be and make sure you're approachable. Make sure you also have your 30-second elevator speech about you or about associations that you're connected to that, But the main thing is have your 30-second elevator speech. You want to be able to tell somebody who you are, who you work for, what you do, and stuff quickly enough to engage, but also when you're networking, you've got to make sure you ask people questions. You've got to put the focus on them, and then they'll turn around and put it on you. But put it on them first.
That's really good advice. I love the 30-second elevator speech. I learned that too early on in my career, to kind of prepare yourself with responses, so that you're not kind of floundering. Another really good piece of information I got given once was in your 30-second elevator pitch, throw in something fun. So, for example, this is what I do. This is my career. This is my trade. This is my thing. And I love cats. Yeah. Something like that. You know what I mean? Because that also gives people something to talk about that you may or may not have done normally, and kind of lowers the walls a little bit, right?
Yes. Yeah, you've got to throw the personal in. People want to know who you are and what your life is,
Now, where do you live? Where is this company? Where have you kind of developed your career?
It's in a little town called Chillicothe, Ohio. We're about 40 miles south of Columbus. We were the first and third capital of Ohio.
The first and third.
Zanesville was the second, and Columbus is the final.
Yeah. So how did that happen? Was it a voting process, or was it arm wrestling or something?
I think it's because of we had no major rivers near us or crossways and stuff. So they moved it up more to the central region. But that's one of the things that people don't know about.
Yeah, that's interesting. Ohio has a deep history of manufacturing, steel plants, mills. There's lots of main headquarters of large metal industry or steel industry companies there. You got the Lincolns in Cleveland. I think I think Miller's there. There's a few other large companies all rolling around, plus the steel mills. It's kind of prime territory to develop into the metal industries, right? For yourself as a young person coming up, did you know about that? Did you know that there was a lot of steel things happening around your world?
No, not until I started with InfoSight, and then that's when you learn all of these connections. And the thing with InfoSight is none of our customers are near us. So,
I see.
So a lot of
Yeah.
our local people don't even know what we do. We were just always the secret place in the woods because our main building was back behind a grove of trees. And so they were always saying that we were the secret place in the woods.
So how do you hire people when you're hidden away, tucked away in the woods in Ohio?
Well, our plant we've got a large plant out by the highway now, but it's word of mouth and schools and trade schools.
And you said you have a whole host of different jobs there. So you have engineers that are working on the new stuff. What other kind of roles exist in your company?
We have welders, we have fabricators, we have machinists that work the lathes. We actually do our own tag material in-house. So we have people that operate on that part. And also with the company, we do identification and marking not only for the steel industry, but any industry that needs marking. So we're also in the medical industry. So we have a division in the medical industry. So we have people that work in that area.
And did all this growth happen throughout your tenure there?
Yes.
You said you were, number 16?
17.
The 17th ever of InfoSight.
Yes.
And this company sounds like it's definitely grown over these 30 years. And this is something I don't think I've ever really felt too much. Jealous if you have felt it, but sounds like you're kind of part of the family. You're a part of this growth. You can take pride in all these steps that this company has taken over the last 3 decades.
Yeah, and we have our employees stay.
Yeah.
They stay. We've got employees, we just had a gentleman that just retired at the end of October that had been with our founder for 43 years.
Wow. That does not happen anymore at all. I'd have to live to 88 and obviously not retire to make it 40 years in this company.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm going to make it to 88. I don't know. Science is getting pretty good now, but
yeah, we have people there, because there was people there before me,
Well, 16 of them.
Yeah. Because the company actually split off from another company. And that's,
really?
Yeah. So.
Well, that's interesting. So now in terms of, the future of your company, you got a product that sounds like it's unique and patented. Growth is going to continue. Do you see your role changing as the company grows? You just stepped into, the senior purchasing role. Now, what's next for Becky?
No, that's probably where I'll stay because I enjoy the purchasing and I've really not had education in it. They've given me that opportunity because I didn't meet the requirements on that application, on the duties.
Title,
yeah. And so I think that's where I'll stay because of learning contract negotiations and things and all that. So it's still challenging.
Keeping you busy?
Yeah, keeping me busy. Doing the learning the negotiations and getting with vendors on setting prices and making sure first in, first out, making sure you keep the stuff in stock, but not too much in stock.
Lean.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, first in, first out. That's Henry Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Henry Ford. Yeah.
But, we also have products that we build machines there. And so you've got to make sure you keep the pieces in stock for the machinists, for the builders can build the products.
Yeah. That's a lot. So you got busy days every day.
Yes.
And then you're here.
Yes. And I'm working remotely.
Yeah. We all have our computers all over the place. But let's take a break now for our advertisers because when we get back, I want to talk about AWMI and your connection with it and what we're doing here. So to all our audience, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the CWB Association podcast in Nashville, Tennessee here. I'm here with Becky, and we'll be back right after these commercials from our advertiser.
The CWB Association is new and improved and focused on you. We offer a free membership with lots of benefits to anyone interested in joining an association that is passionate about welding. We are committed to educating, informing, and connecting our workforce. Gain access to your free digital publication of the Weld magazine, free online training, conferences, and lots of giveaways. Reach out to your local CWB Association chapter today to connect with other welding professionals and share welding as a trade in your community. Build your career, stay informed, and support the Canadian welding industry. Join today and learn more at cwbassociation.org.
And we are back here on the CWB Association podcast. My name is Max Ceron. I'm here with Becky Dolan, who is the International Membership Chair for AWMI, which is the Association for Women in the Metal Industries. We're here at their conference in Nashville, Tennessee. And, Becky, before the show, we talked about your long and amazing career with the InfoSite and working in the steel industries, the things you've had to pick up and learn. We've alluded a couple times to the skills you've picked up with AWMI. But let's go back to the first connection. How did you find AWMI?
Actually, AWMI found me. The Columbus chapter is about an hour and 15 minutes from Chillicothe.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a phone call from a lady by the name of Linda O'Neill. She was a member of the Columbus chapter, and she invited me to attend a meeting.
So how did she find you?
I don't know. She never did tell me that.
So she must have heard about this amazing Becky who's just doing these crazy things out in this little town at a little shop that backs onto the forest.
Yeah, she never did share that. It never came up because I went to the first meeting and I've not looked back since.
So what was that experience like, that first meeting? You know, you must have not known really what it was about, right?
No, I didn't know what about, but Linda took me under her wing, introduced me to the other members, and told me, what it was about and everything, and it just kind of fit. And being new into the industry, it was something that intrigued me, and it sounded like it would, be very interesting and helpful to my career.
So how long were you at InfoSite before you got into AWMI?
Probably 5 years.
Okay, so you've been a part of AWMI now for 26 years, if I do the math. So that's a long time. Now, over those 25 years with AWMI, I'll ask the same question I asked about your job. What kind of growth have you seen? What kind of changes have you seen within this organization? Because we're new to it. We just found you guys a couple of years ago, and we're all in, right? So, 25 years ago, what was it like?
We were a lot smaller, a lot fewer chapters, a lot of, we were maybe 800 members, 900 members, so not many. Chapters-wise, we didn't have a whole bunch, as many chapters as we knew now. We actually now have 20 chapters with another provisional chapter on the horizon. But I went to my first conference in Orlando, and I think maybe there was 100 and some people.
Yeah.
That was in like 2001 when I went to the first conference.
And, for the people that are listening, explain what AWMI is and what it is for you.
AWMI is a organization that is for the empowerment and growth and support of women in the metal industries, but we do also include men. They are allowed, to be members, and we encourage their support because, we want everybody to help empower the women, but also we want to help men change too, the young men coming in.
Yeah.
And it's just been a passion of mine that it's great to see the younger members come in with new ideas and new opportunities for them, and for they can hear and see the stories of the ladies that have been in the industry for so long, and they know they can make it. They know they can, go from being a receptionist off the floor. I know one lady that receptionist off the floor, and she became an executive vice president. So
that's amazing.
You can do it. You just gotta have your support.
Well, there's always that saying that you can't be what you don't see, right? So if you don't know what you don't know, you can't get there. And that's, I think, so important for women, or really all diversity growth, is that if you don't see women in positions of power, leadership positions, or women that are advancing their careers aggressively, which is, that not passively, but they're out there trying to hunt for those top jobs and work their way up. If you don't see that as a young woman, it's harder to see your place in that world, right?
That is correct. You've got to have some examples. You've got to have people that are there that it's like, oh, that's what I want to do. And that's like one of the other things that AWMI taught me, you ask, is you've got positions where there's a job, even within your company, and there's a job description, and a woman will look at it and say, I don't know, I'm not going to apply.
Mm-hmm.
A man will look at it and say, oh, I can do that. Okay, I'm going to apply.
Yeah.
And that's what AWMI is trying to show women that they can do. And that's what I did 2 years ago or almost 3 years ago, when I applied for the purchasing. I didn't meet any of those requirements.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have purchasing experience. I was backup purchasing when the gentleman was out. And I thought, go for it.
Yeah. What are you going to lose?
Right.
Right. And it's easy for me to say that as a man, right? It's easy because I have the privilege of being a male. And, my wife is getting into leadership positions now, and I try to coach and help and be an ally to her, not as a spouse, but as a person professionally looking to empower a woman. And she'll do those same things where she'll be like, well, I don't know if I can do that. I don't have the experience in that. And I'll say, like, very clear, like you, like, if it was me, I wouldn't even consider that. I would just go for it, because the privilege I have as a male is that I just think that it doesn't matter. I can just do it, right? And even if I don't know what I'm doing, I'll figure it out. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that thought, but it's not right that women don't have the same thought. That idea that it doesn't matter if you don't fake it till you make it like everyone else.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And because that's what women want to know what they're doing and want to know that they can do it before they go into a position.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I can do this.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can do everything.
You can do everything.
You can do everything.
And that's another thing that AWMI taught me is negotiation. Women will not negotiate or speak for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got to be able to negotiate, whether it's salaries,
wages, holidays,
promotions, everything.
Everything.
And especially the young ones coming in. They need to, learn how to negotiate. And I hope AWMI helps them when they go apply for a job.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk in, all they can do is tell you no. Ask for the 2 weeks vacation up front, the PTO. Ask for this salary,
the benefit that you're looking forward for your family
or whatever, right? The remote or the being able to work from home every so often if you need to.
Mm-hmm. And that idea, that confidence that if you don't ask, you don't get. So just ask. Right. It's do you think, like, I guess I'm kind of the wrong person for the interview, right? Because I'm a male, right? So there's things to me that I take for granted every day that I don't cross my mind, and when I come to conferences like this, I'm here to learn, right? Because I can be a better leader, I can be a better person in the industry, an advocate, an ally, when I listen to the problems and obstacles that women face that I haven't. So it's hard to, I can't help avoid something if I don't see it either.
Correct.
And it can be built in bias, right? It really can. So for yourself as a mentor now, because you're kind of on the mentor side of this, I don't want to say that you're whatever, but you've been here a long time. What are the things that you're trying to mentor young women, or really as a group, AWMI is trying to mentor younger women?
It's getting out of the comfort zone,
mm-hmm.
having your elevator speech, and being able to feel comfortable selling yourself. Promoting yourself, making
your skills,
promoting your skills and asking for what you want. Because as you said, all they can do is tell you no.
Yeah. Have you seen a big change in your career over the last 20-some years of the ability or the comfort of young women to do as you said?
Yes, I've talked to people at the conference, and they're already doing it. So
Good.
They're learning and being able to do it.
Mm-hmm. We see all the time that if you're an aggressive male, it's way to go, Billy. But if you're an aggressive female, it's oh no, you're whatever, right? That has that diminished at all in the steel industries? Have you seen that? Are we getting better?
I think we're getting better.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice when you don't need associations. Ideally when you don't have to have all the different associations, whether for women or anybody, for the diversification.
Mm-hmm.
But
where it was just naturally that way, right?
but at least we're here to help the young women to get their voice. That's what we want to do is show them that they've got a voice and that it's okay to speak.
And what about other diversity groups that may, kind of tag on? Like, does the LGBTQ, community have a place here at AWMI as well? People that are also are looking for support and not sure where to go.
Yes. Yep. AWMI is part of that. We don't see, we're very diverse.
Good. Well, and I've seen nothing but amazing things. 2 years ago when we got placed next to you at, where was that, FabTech or no, the AISC?
NASCC.
Yeah.
In Denver.
So when we were there at that show, we got put right beside you where all the associations are, the back of the room, like you said. And we start chit-chatting with you guys, you and Beth. It was so eye-opening to me because it's one of the things that frustrates me is how do associations not know about other associations? We almost need to have like an index card or a yellow pages of associations, because we had an issue that we were looking to tackle as an association in Canada supporting the welding and fabrication industry, of how to increase women in the workforce, right? We know that we're at less than 5% of women, of the workforce is women. And we were actively, and we're still actively, trying to find programming and resources to try to correct that. And we get put next to you, and here we are, a whole association that's built by strong women for strong women to advocate for women in the industries. It's like, well, why do I got to reinvent the wheel? Let's just connect,
Right. And that's the idea of also connecting with your association, is because we want the diverse membership. We don't want just sales and technical, we've got sales and engineer and HR, but we want to get the ladies that's on the floor. We want the welders and the machinists, part of our association too, because we want the diversity of our association.
Well, and we want to see those women climb the ladder too.
Yes.
That's one of the things that I talk about. I take back to my industry or my work all the time is, we've invested millions into what I say is the top of the funnel, trying to get young women STEM programs into welding or fabrication, try to get them onto shop floors. But we run into obstacles. The middle of the funnel's rough. We have biases. We have, unsafe workplaces. We have lack of women's, safety clothing. There's just, obstacle after obstacle after obstacle as you try to make it comfortable for someone to just get up and go to work. And then on top of that, you have toxic workplaces, bad attitudes, and bad bosses. And so for me, a lot of the focus has been changing or evolving into not just getting them in, but how do you keep them? How do you keep them in the trades? How do you make sure that they, maybe in 10, 15 years, they're supervisors, they're business owners, they are owning the weld shop, they are developing the patents. You know what I mean? How do we start doing that?
Well, and that's part of our corporate membership for AWMI is being able to keep them, because, we have our corporate membership and we've got 83 corporate members, and having those companies support and supporting AWMI helps us grow the women, because they're growing the women within their organizations.
Right.
And so, so that helps. When other companies see companies supporting an association like ours or any other association, it lets, gives them something to think about. It's like, what do they see in that association that I don't know about?
Right. Now, in your role as international membership chair, how do you go around, or how do you go about bringing in more international members? What's part of your, daily duties when you look at what AWMI is doing?
I go out and I look at companies, like when I attend trade shows, I look at other companies that are there that have no idea what AWMI is. So AWMI attends trade shows. We have a booth, so I can, whoever's attending and representing us can get the word out. Because I was at MetalCon last week, and there was people there that said, "Oh, I didn't know your association existed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's getting out in front of them, but also looking at and sending emails and picking up the phone and working with our chapters. Each chapter has a membership chair also. So
Mhm.
it's working with the chapters to reach out to the diverse companies that touch the metal industries, because we not only want to support, the producers, but we want the welding associations, we want the weld shops, we want the fabrication shops.
Mm-hmm.
We want all of them to be part of the association, for that way all the women can learn.
And when you say be a part of the association, let's walk through what that process looks like. So I'm a company X. I build, grain augers. And, we have a few women on the floor, a couple in the office, and I run into you at a trade show and you say, hey, join AWMI so we can help support your needs. What is it that you're offering these companies that'll make them want to be a part of your organization?
We offer their employees as a mentorship program.
Mm-hmm.
Each of our chapters have 8-9 meetings a year where they offer tours into facilities that you wouldn't get to go into if you weren't part of the association.
Mm-hmm.
We offer educational events, both professionally and personal growth
Mm-hmm.
benefits. And we offer the networking opportunities where they can reach out to any member. They can go do a search on our database and say they want to talk to somebody. In HR, they can search and see people that are in the same fields. Then we also offer our individual members a mentorship program that is awesome, where they can apply and say, hey, I've got this big project coming up. I need help. So they can reach out and ask for a mentor to help them get through that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And how do people join? What's the easiest way if someone's listening to this podcast and they think, I want to figure out what it is, or I'm a woman and maybe I can help or participate, or how do they join?
They can just go to awmi.org and there's a little button there that says join AWMI, or they can, send an email to headquarters that'll forward it to me if they want more questions. And as international membership chair, I will respond to both corporations and the individual people that are interested. But when we see what area they're in, we will filter them out to the chapters, we'll connect them to the chapters.
So, for example, I'm a part of the Toronto chapter because that's the only one in Canada right now. I don't live anywhere near Toronto. Our staff does. Our headquarters is right outside of Toronto, so that makes sense. But for me, out in the prairies in Canada, out in the West, is there a future of AWMI out in our neck of the woods?
We've got a lot of locations that's on the radar.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting the champions on the ground, because the AWMI leadership cannot be everywhere.
Right.
So you've got to get your champions on the ground. That will help you.
And if someone was interested in perhaps setting a chapter up or looking to do something like that in their area, which they don't see on the map is represented, how would they go about doing that? I guess just joining and having that conversation.
Right. Joining, have the conversation. There's a click on the website to email headquarters, so they can email to get more information. We do have an expansion committee now that will.
Okay, cool.
A chairperson that is working at that, because last year we actually started 2 provisional chapters last year, and one of them has been voted in as an affiliate chapter.
Wow,
this
awesome.
year. So, and the other one we gave an extension because with weather and things that happened, so we had to.
Yeah,
So
but I mean the growth is phenomenal, right? It's very steady growth now. With AWMI being over 40 years old and tenure of the people within the organization, there's quite a bit of leadership within this conference this week that really is inspirational to almost anybody in the industry.
Yeah, the conference is a very good, upbeat, great learning experience, and it also just gets your blood boiling. I mean, it really inspires you to go out, and for the leaders of the chapters that come, to go back and do lots of different things in their chapters, because they all get to interact with each other and they learn from each other. So we're not reinventing the wheel. Somebody will say, oh, I've had this program and it was successful. So they go back and look and see if their membership would be interested in it. So they have a program like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, we're coming up to the end of the interview here. I guess for the next couple days, what are the things that you're excited for? What are the couple things on your calendar for, this week here at AWMI's conference that you're super pumped for?
Well, we've got our new member first-time attendee reception tomorrow evening before the welcome reception. And that's kind of like my baby. Well, we've got over 120 of a new member first-time attendees that's actually attending the reception.
Yeah.
But I think our number is like almost 140 of our attendees are members that are new members and first-time attendees or just first-time attendees.
Well,
that's
that's
never
us.
that's never been to a conference. And so
Yeah.
it's nice to share what the conference can give everyone. I mean, because the panels and the speakers, it's just such a diverse conference. It gives a little bit for everybody.
That's awesome. I'm very excited to be a part of it for the next 3 days here. I have a big mouth, so hopefully I can be a part of conversations and talk and if I'm looking forward to getting some honest feedback and people, and I want to learn. I want to be I want to be uncomfortable. You know what I mean? I want to be outside of my comfort zone. This isn't my conference. This isn't even for me. Right? I'm just here to be an ally and learn what I can. So, I'm very pumped, and I guess thank you for all the work you do for setting these things up.
Well, thank you, and thank you for being here to support us, and I'm sure you will learn just as much as everyone else.
Awesome. Well,
Great.
Thanks, Becky. And any shout-outs or anything you'd like to say to anyone before we go?
I just want to thank all the AWMI members and leadership that's keeping the organization strong.
Awesome. Well, thank you. All the people that have been watching and downloading the podcast, we're here in Nashville today, recording all day. So we're going to have a few from this episodes from the conference. So make sure you check them all out. They're going to be super fun. We are pumped here to be a part of this for the next 3 days. Check out awmi.org. If you're interested, of course, become a member with us at CWBAssociation.org, all the orgs. And, we have programming as well to support and help you upskill and empower your career. But specifically for the women, please join AWMI and be a part of both of us. We are looking to work together in the future, and there's, I'm sure, lots of touch points that we can collaborate with. So until the next episode, you guys take care, and I'll see you there.
We hope you enjoy the show.